Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the fourth quarter final taking place for the Women's Olympic Games. And at this stage, we have a few North American sides that have confirmed their spot through to the semis. USA and Canada both getting themselves win over France as well as GB. So not a great day for Europe, but Ireland could change that if they are able to pull off the upset and win up against the Australians here. And their starting lineup, it will be Stacey Flood, Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe, who has taken on the captaincy after the injury that we did see of Lucy Mulhall-Rock. Then Parsons is in that starting lineup. Megan Burns, Eve Higgins, Erin King, and also Emily Lane in the starting side as well. For the Australians, it will be Faith Nathan, Tegan Levi, Soraya Parkey, Charlotte Caslick. She did not play at all in the last contest up against the Irish when those two sides played only, how long ago? Like 6 hours or so ago, I think we saw these two sides play. So it feels like a long time, but that is because I slept for an hour in between. So theoretically, we're on a new day in my time zone, but it's going to be interesting to see what side has adapted better and has improved more from the last time that they played. Tia Hines also in the starting lineup with Isabella Nassar and Madison Levi. If she gets the ball more than 5 times, Australia going through to the semis. I'm saying it right now. But if she doesn't, it could be a lot closer between these two sides, and maybe Ireland, like I mentioned, they were close to pulling off the upset not too long ago when these two sides did go head-to-head. Who has the better semi? Says JYD. I mean, it's going to be New Zealand versus USA, so that for me is going to be more competitive. Don't get me wrong, Canada are a great side, and they've pulled off a great win over the French, but it's whether or not they can be consistent. Because we've got to remember, this is a Canadian side that just yesterday had 33 points scored against them by the Black Ferns. Is this a quarterfinal repeat? It is. It's a repeat of what we saw about 6 hours ago when they did play in pool games. But now Ireland have got themselves the possession. Stacey Flood, it is great to see her playing because she did have a bit of an injury at the end of the last matchup, and that would have been a massive concern for Ireland, definitely with already losing their skipper earlier on. Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe patiently awaiting the pass on the outside. Emily Lane gets it away to Eve Higgins. Big step there, but Tegan Levi manages to make the tackle. Tia Hines lurking around the side of the breakdown. Here we go. Murphy, Lee, Crowe. Round the wrong way. Lee Murphy-Crowe, I should say. Now a quick tap taken by Tegan Levi. Looked like she was in front of the mark. Some referees would have called her back, but she goes on the inside to her sister, Madison. And that will be the first try of the match for the Australians. Australia by 21, says Mark. And mate, did you watch that Canada game? I did indeed. Canada causing the massive upset. France not happy. We saw one of the players smashing her hand on the top of the dugout out of frustration. Levi to Levi. And the try for the Aussies, their first of the contest. Going to be a good game, I think, says Aneki. I hope so. There is the concern, like I said, if she touches the ball 5 times, that's once now, then Australia will win. They're already up now by 5 as the kick has missed. Did Canada beat France? Lol. France is out, says Anoy. They certainly are, and there were some emotional players after that was the case, because that was a game that I fully feel France should have won. Like, when you look at the form of the two sides, like France went from a group stage of putting on 85 points or something like that up against 3 opposition to then like conceding a whole heap of points in their next contest. Like before their game up against the USA, even with their game up against the USA, France only conceded 1 try up till that stage of the competition. Mio, one heck of a game. I think one of the games of the year, the French were devastated. They definitely thought they could do this, says Razor. And yeah, Canada won, says Ultimate. Now a line-out throw here for the Irish. Emily Lane to put this one in. Nassar's closed the gap a little bit. Now about to throw it in. Maddie Levi goes up for it and slapped away by the Irish. They have got themselves the possession. Big driving tackle made there by Nassar. Now in the middle of the field, Tegan Levi gets fended off. Seems like Australia do have that pace advantage, although we haven't seen Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe in space as of yet. Fantastic to see Canada rising fast. Grows the game at least, says Nazi. And now Emily Lane. In fact, it's going to be Riley Higgins. Runs sideways. Caslick makes the tackle again. 3 minutes into the contest, still 5-0 for the Australians. Skip pass. Inside ball back to Stacey Flood. Big fend. Another offload. Pass on the outside to Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe. She will be tackled by Soraya Paki. Flood again. Going to the left-hand side. Australia rush defence here in the middle of the field. Big fend coming in from Parsons. A lot of physicality out there on the field. Charlotte Caslick gets the penalty for Australia when she joins the breakdown. Riley Higgins is the name of a Hurricanes player. I like that to start this year as Geordie is gone. Says Razor, nice run forward. And Madison Levi, her second touch of the day, and that will be her second try of the contest. The danger that Ireland have at the moment is, I mentioned about if she touches the ball 5 times, Australia wins. She might have 5 tries after 5 touches at this rate. But once again, Tegan Levi with the assist. Tegan is like a woman's huge Lomu on the wing. Says, and oh yeah, she's certainly got the size advantage over, I'd say 95%, if not 99% of the ladies on the Sevens circuit, but she also has the pace and the power to match it. So that is the danger of Madison Levi. How many tries has Maddie Levi scored this Olympics? I believe she's up to about, I want to say 7 now. I think her and Michaela Blythe, once again, it just seems to be the trend. Her and Michaela Blythe go back and forth all throughout the competition. No, sorry, she's up to 10. So I think Blythe's on 8 or 9 at the moment. That's twice. We got caught by Australia scoring after they get a penalty, says Eldon. And then American 5 had a solid fend, says Mr. Orlin. It's going to be kicked off by the Australians again, waiting for the bounce of the ball. Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe, great hands there. Haven't really been able to free her up to get any sort of space. I do see that Tegan Levi is off the field and now Tarita is on. I wonder if that is injury-based or whether that is just when they have decided it is the best time of changing her. Maybe because she's already got those 2 assists. They know how crucial she will be in the semis. They will... Oh, that's a knock-on from the Irish now. Tarita going back across to the left-hand side. They have got numbers here. Faith Nathan, inside ball. Guess what? Maddie Levi's got the ball, and guess what? She's got her third. Between the sticks, scores the try. She'll be thinking this game of sevens is easy. She's giving a clap to her teammates. Every time she just runs, there's no one in front of her. And, 11 tries now in the competition. Morning Pumpkin, says Zersha. And Tegan Levi, it looks fine on camera. No injuries, I think, says Razor Robinson. Levi is like the Lomu, Blythe is like the Habana of sevens, says Razor Robinson. We need to tighten up the defence. She a big lady, says Fleshin. And we'll wonder what sponsorships she will get soon. What sponsorships can you get, though? Like, I guess a boot sponsor, she already got one of those. I guess a couple endorsements with companies, maybe. Be on the cards. Who's the one posting the hearts? Says Arsene. Not sure. I can't actually see them on my software, but that is 11 tries now for Madison Levi. They might not be too far away from putting her off the field. That is going to be retained by the Australians. Maddie Levi makes it look like she is playing under 13s. Although at this stage, she hasn't taken any contact by any Irish player. That's a great run from Faith Nathan. She's through again. This is an onslaught from the Australian attack. And they will score between the posts 24-0 before the first half is over. This is domination by the Aussie woman. The Japanese should get 7 sumo wrestlers holding hands for defence. That's all well and good. But as soon as the opposition move to the side a little bit, that might be where it gets a little bit trickier. We've got to remember, you've got 70... Is it 70? I can't remember how many metres. I think it's like 45 or 50 metres in width to be able to work with. So they'd have about maybe 10 metres of that covered very strong on the sumo wrestlers. But that one has gone over. 26 points to 0. And solid in the first game, says Mr. Orlin. Yeah, and plenty of pace to match as well. And you're lucky Seb isn't on the chat with that sponsor question. Says Fleshin and too good for everyone else, in my opinion. Says Eldon there. 3 tries now for Faith Nathan throughout her Olympics campaign. Going to be kicked off long this time. Unfortunately, it has been dropped by Soraya Paki. Unlike the last one, it was almost deja vu, though, for the Irish. That will be half-time. 26 points to 0. Now, if they come back in this game, biggest comeback in sevens history, it would have to be close to it. Australia coming in as big favourites in this contest. And at the moment, Ireland just have to try not to concede 50 is the big goal here for this team. Next game, it will be Australia versus Canada for the semi-finals, if that is the way that this game, of course, goes. It could be a similar score. It just seems like at the moment there are two top dogs in the Seven circuit, and they might find themselves going head-to-head unless there's a massive upset from a North American side. Well, Aussie great half says David the Mod, I don't think we have a comeback coming. Doesn't feel like Ireland have any momentum at all. Says Razor and poor Irish probably thought they had a big chance. Yeah, I don't think they would have been anticipating being 26-0 down, and it does seem like in the huddle, like they're trying something. It seems like the coach is trying to get them fired up and rearing to go, but first touch of the ball for Australia is probably going to take that comeback and take it away. They should breed Levi with Box Neyman, see how big their kids will be. Don't think that's quite how it works in terms of, I don't think they're like cattle, how you pick out the best of the stocks and then just put them together for 5 minutes and see what happens. Currently, second half, just about to get underway for rugby science, says Razor there. Oh, the coverage was playing up for a second. I don't think the comeback will be on, though, for this second half. Unless, one try for Ireland. I know that it sounds terrible to say in a quarter-final, but one try would be great to see at least here. We did see China beat them by 50 points, but they did score once up against New Zealand. In the other two games, quite close in the quarterfinals. USA, though, getting themselves the win over Great Britain, and then Canada pulling off the upset, beating the French side at home. Ireland will be kicking this one off. We'll be looking to retain their kickoff. It would be a big bonus for the Irish just to get some possession throughout this half. It's going to be kicked off short now. Nicely taken by Nassar. Now Charlotte Caslick. Good low tackle made here. Counter right coming from the Irish. Her hands were down. It looks like the referee has said that it is going to be all right, which means now Ireland have got themselves possession. Higgins, a little bit of a juggle of the ball. Tackled by Tia Hines, wrestled down to the turf. I wouldn't like to get on the bad side of some of these girls. They're buff, says David. A red card will help Ireland. Oh, that's an injury to the knee, though. One of the Irish players is down now with an injury. Once again, unfortunately, the turf has been an absolute brutal one so far throughout the sevens. Just as she's going down, the surface, it's just too grippy. You don't get any natural slide on it. And of course, with it being so hot, it's going to be one of those ones that you get no slip whatsoever. So I don't think Parsons is going to be able to continue here in this matchup. And that's going to add to the injury list for Ireland. That's about 3 now that they've had. And she looks sore, says Razor. Yeah, looks like Parsons. She's trying to make her way from the field. Good one, ref. The ref's just gone over and he said, by the way, you're being substituted. She'll be thinking, cheers, mate. Now I've got to go about 70 metres. Surely they can let her get off on the far side of the field and then have someone drive her around to the other side. Looks like they're going to make her walk the full width of the field, which, fun fact, is about 45 or 50 metres, as we learned earlier on. Look at that knee. Yeah, one of them's a bit more swollen than the other, isn't it? It does seem like the tendons in the inside of one of her legs were really sticking out, so that doesn't look too good for Parsons there. South Africa won 2 medals on gold and a bronze, and South Africa 11th on the medal table. And how are you today? Says Mono Lagrange. I'm doing very well. Sounds like South Africa are going all right as well. Is this the semi-final? It is the quarter-final. And semi-final going to be taking place tomorrow morning, New Zealand time. Now Australia back in possession. Charlotte Caslick. She's going through. Another step from her. She didn't actually play up against the Irish in the last game. Madison Levoy, 4th touch. They've managed to stop her, or have they? She's still pumping her legs. Managed just to break through 2 defenders before getting dragged down. Australia going off. Tia Hines to Faith Nathan. The last thing Aussie will want here, though, is any sort of injury. That doesn't look good, says Bleshin. Caslick should have passed. Says annoying semis tomorrow. Baby. Says Razor. Nassar will be through, and that is another try for Australia. That is now 5 on the board. She puts the big heart up to the crowd. Of course, hearts broken earlier on when the French were defeated by Canada. They wanted to see the home side through to the semis. And how is women rugby in terms of injuries and aggressiveness as compared to men's rugby? Says Goading. I mean, the similarities in physicality are there. Both sides look to absolutely smash the head off their opposition in a legal manner, I should mention. But, like, injury-wise, the men's were just bad in terms of the amount of players injured due to just not sliding on this turf. It is dry, and it offers no give whatsoever if you change directions and have someone tackling you. So I think the injury count for the men's and the women's is probably up to about 25 injuries throughout this competition, which is way more than we've seen throughout any other any other Seven Circuit games that have been taking place. I'm just guessing, but I think that felt as like that to help increase player speed. Yeah, it is, and unfortunately, that also comes with the side effects of, unfortunately, it can just happen that injuries get you grippy as well. I think Australia were asking for a hair pull there. Well, not asking for it, but asking for a penalty against it. Now, the advantage for the knock-on, originally from Maddie Levi, is over. Now, Erin King hanging on to that ball. NASA pushes her over in a non-legal manner that time. And that is going to be, well, in fact, it was Tia Hines that time. Did get it wrong. I feared this would happen. Here's Geza. They love this cut pass inside move. New Zealand better be watching this. And yeah, the likely final at the moment is New Zealand-Australia, but some people said the likely semi-final was Australia-France, so who knows what could happen just around the corner. Ireland getting some much-needed position here, though. Going off to the left-hand side. Inside ball, nicely done. Stacey Flood now, trying to get her way through. Looks like a blowout victory for Australia. Is Ireland that bad? Ireland thrashed South Africa in the group stages. Says Mornay Lagrange. I feel like you've got one of the most impressive skills, Mornay, that I have seen in terms of somehow bringing South Africa into every comment that you've ever made. But, yeah, this Irish side, they just haven't quite found their rhythm. Madison Levi chases down the line break for the Irish. Would Sevens be better if 2 props from 15s must be included in every team? I mean, there would be more space, that is for sure, but then there'd possibly be few more bulldozing runs. Although some of the props nowadays are just as quick as some of the backs, which is very scary. But counter up coming from Australia, not working out. Now Eve Higgins, she can't get the pass away. And nice says Eldon there. Going to the short side. Stacey Flood. She will beat Dominic DeToy on the outside. And Ireland do get themselves that try. Looks much better on the board, having some points rather than 0. 2 minutes 30 now remaining on the clock. League players would make good Sevens players. Says Geza. And at least got a try. Says Eldon. Yeah, it's a nice one for Ireland. Like, they deserve something in this game, I believe. They've had a hard day at the office. Luck of the Irish. Says Razor there. Stacey Flood. I think it's definitely the luck of the Irish that she was not injured in that last game. The way that she also had a little bit of a twist, awkwardly landing. The kick is over from the Irish. That's going to make the score now 33 points to 7. Luck of the Irish isn't always good, says Geza. And hit her with the hitch kick even. Beautiful to see. And we have got there which other teams qualify for the semis apart from Aussies and New Zealand. So the first semi-final will be New Zealand versus USA. Second semi-final will be, more than likely at this stage, Australia versus Canada. So, yeah, it's pretty much Southern Hemisphere versus North America in both cases. That's an awkward one for Stacey Flood again. As I mentioned how she was lucky not to get injured, she decided to go aggressive in the air and almost ended up injured. Other quarterfinals coming up next. New Zealand have already played. They beat China 55-5 in their quarterfinal. There's some massive Pacific Island women running around in the comps up here in Auckland. They run hard. I'll be scared to tackle them. So Oceania versus North America, says Geza. Kind of. Depending on what you're looking at, because I know that in the FIFA World Cup, Australia qualify as Asia, which is the only reason that I didn't say Oceania. But yes, I would consider it Oceania versus North America, but I thought someone might try and get me on the technicality and say Australia are part of Asia, even though it's still debated, isn't it, that one? That's going to be not straight from Australia at line-out time. This is South Africa women's debut at the Olympics. At least they made us proud, says Mornay Lagrange. Yeah, no, that's not a straight line-out throw. She decided to just go with a straight pass. And ankle tap might be the only chance. That's 2 easy wins for Oz and New Zealand. You'd think so, but France was supposed to be an easy victory for them over the Canadians. We've got to remember, Canada were beaten by New Zealand by about the same scoreline that we have in this game. There's some big smiles on the face of the Australian women's side, all happy with their performance in this contest. Game of 7. So quickly that can go from smiles to tears. Stars France. Sorry, they're probably doing it hard enough at the moment, but I don't think we've got many French viewers, so it's an easy target. That's going to be a knock-on there from Emily Lane. Australia back in possession. Loose ball, Smale cleans it up. Australia applied to leave the Oceania group for the Asian one in FIFA, says Gus. Probably because it's a harder group to qualify in, isn't it, compared to Oceania. Like Oceania, they get in a breeze every single time. That's going to be a good run here from Tarita. And she will score the try, ladies and gentlemen. Another one for the Australians. Finals prediction, Aussies versus New Zealand. New Zealand winning it, says Joseph. And the women's NRL will probably soon, or will probably some of them, soon as pays good coin and Warriors coming in next year. Ruth has a French boss, that is true. How's the semis going to look like, says Mono Lagrange. It's going to be New Zealand versus USA, Canada versus Australia as the two, and they are taking place tomorrow, New Zealand time. I'll just quickly get the times for you. South Africa going to be in action morning. Didn't even bring them up, but they are going to be playing up against, where is it? They'll have them somewhere on this sheet. Or at least they should. Or do they not play off the women's lower rank sides? Oh, there they are. South Africa playing Fiji women at 2:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, New Zealand time. We're going to get to see the semi-finals at 1:30 a.m., followed by Canada versus Australia at 2 a.m. And I thought the Irish would have been more competitive. I did too. Sadly, just not their day though. Beaten by Australia twice. The only team that they've played today. Bit of a brutal one for the Irish. But sometimes that is just the way that the draw works. They were 7th qualifier. They needed to get that win over Great Britain, and they wouldn't have faced Australia till maybe even as late as the semi or the final. Great commentary, Amish professional as ever, says David the Mob. But nonetheless, like I said, 1:30 a.m. tomorrow morning is when that first live stream will be taking place for the channel, ladies and gents. If you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. That's probably for 11th and 12th. It is, but it's going to be a great game. Love watching Fiji versus South Africa. It's probably, like, for me, going to be one of the more intriguing, unpredictable games of the day. Australia going into the Asian football group was clever. They got a direct qualification without all the playoff rounds, says Fleishan. And Joyce, mate, I'll be there. Take care, mate. Thanks for the commentary today, Hamish, says Eldon. No worries at all. But yeah, we will be back tomorrow with plenty more Rugby Sevens action. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you all for the next one.